Here we are. Time spent listening on WRFI, Watkins Glen, Ithaca.
Good evening and welcome to Time Spent Listening, a show we have converted into a Dungeons & Dragons adventure party.
As a long-form art project.
Let's introduce our characters. I'm Crag, the dwarf bard.
I'm Leodor Summerbreeze, the elven wizard. Excuse me, I'm an elven wizard.
I'm Turlaruk Cleaver, fighter.
Chris, you're our game master,
I
our
am
dungeon master. I prefer the term-
Overlord of your reality.
I prefer dungeon master. I hear you saying game master a lot, and that sounds like some revisionist garbage, you know? Well, not necessarily in a dungeon.
It's the generic term.
I like DM a lot better.
When I'm running Dungeons & Dragons, technically, yes, I am a DM.
Nice.
When I'm running other games, I'm a GM, or whatever those games prefer to call it.
Yeah, I understand. So let's get down to business. I think Turla was in the midst of climbing some sort of diseased tree.
I'm up a tree.
It was a large diseased tree, some type of oak. Very large tree, and it had something red oozing out of it, apparently.
Yes,
but we
it's,
didn't see that.
Unfortunately.
It's a
It's now all over
black.
my gloves.
It's a disgusting black-barked oak with tumorous growths. It's of amazing size. The leaves are dark-colored. I can't remember if I described them as purple or black, but they're a dark, not right color.
And it's
How many lobes on those leaves? Just wondering.
And is it, are
pointed
they pointy or are they rounded? Yeah, are they?
You'd think I would have read up. Actually, are you doing tree stuff because you know we like trees?
Not entirely.
Okay. Well, yes. Yeah, I guess.
Some of the chestnut stuff was after you guys started going nuts over the chestnut stuff that was already there.
Going nuts over chestnuts.
No pun was intended, but yeah.
Welcome to Time Spent Listening. By all means.
I'm gathering the answer to your question is however many lobes an oak leaf has.
Yes.
Well, we're trying to establish the variety.
It's a dungeon oak, and it's the only tree
Dungeon
around.
oak.
Well, it's the only tree around on this top of the hill,
Right.
overlooking this cursed city.
It's
And it's-
contaminated with magic.
Actually, you guys are a ways away from the cursed city at this point.
okay.
That's to the north, and I mean, you can kind of see the hill that if you went over the top of it, you'd be able to see the city from there. But you know, it's like a mile away or 2 miles away.
But
right
we're
now.
bathing in background magic radiation right now.
yeah.
Everything here is polluted.
Yes. And this tree is obviously no exception. It looks kind of dead, but at the same time, it must be doing fairly well for itself because
really
the
tall.
trunk goes up about 50 feet before it branches out, and it branches out for hundreds of feet in every direction.
Remember, vigorous growth is no sign of health overall. But
Well, and it may have been
sounds like
healthy
Eastern
at one
magic blight.
point.
it may be what?
May have been healthy at one point.
Right.
Yeah.
This tree. This is scary, huh?
So as she was climbing it, she was, I think, like 14 feet up, and she put her hand through the surface of one of those sort of tumorous growths.
Pustules, I believe.
You said 14? I thought she was 40 feet up.
She wasn't that high up.
Okay.
I was specifically leaving her not so high up so that if she let go, she would die from the fall.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I mean, I'll let you guys climb that high, but I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to leave things off on that.
Right.
So I'll just say 14. She might have been more like 20. I don't know. But and she put her hands through one of those growths, and it was full of this disgusting red ooze.
I was wearing gloves, though, specifically.
What are your two spot checks?
Oh.
Your bonuses to spot.
Mine's +2.
mine is-
You know, I remembered that.
+0.
Okay, just a moment. I'm going to check for you.
I mean, should we roll a spot check?
No, I checked for you.
Oh, I see.
Although, you know, I'll let you guys check.
Well,
Okay.
How did we do? How did we do on your roll?
You'll never know.
I rolled a 7 plus 2 is
20.
9.
I rolled a 20.
Nice.
Awesome.
Big naturals.
Okay.
You want me to roll it again?
Craig, you can see that Turla doesn't seem to have noticed it, but she pulled something out in her hand and sort of, as she was like shaking her hand to shake off the disgusting stuff,
The
like
ooze.
flung it down.
Oh.
So, you could go and look at what got thrown
I
down.
would like to.
Yeah.
Maybe it's some kind of magic worm.
And I noticed that Craig noticed something, and I follow him.
Let me see. You rolled a 7.
Give me a break. Just
and
give me a
your
break.
bonus is plus 2.
Leodor, Turla flung something. Let's check
It's
it
a
out.
9.
You do notice him telling
That's
you
a different
that,
spot check. I should do another spot check. Now.
Well, that would be a listen check.
Yeah, can you...
Oh,
Don't worry about it. He's talking to you. You can figure that out.
okay.
Leodor, did you see that Turla just stuck her hand in one of those pustules?
Let me see.
No.
I just rolled a 19. I guess I did.
Well, I already told you that
I
you
know.
did, so.
I just wasted a 19 too. Anyway,
Yes, because
priming it.
the rolls
No, I
are
didn't.
like stored in the dice.
I didn't notice. What'd you see? What's going on?
Her hand went in one of these zits that's
What?
on the tree.
You're kidding. All right, let's go look at this little wad.
Yeah, I'd like to go explore.
Okay. It is part of, and still connected together, but part of a skeleton of maybe a sparrow, some kind of small bird.
This is a family program. I should remind you.
Skeleton
the
of
dinner hour.
of a small bird. Okay.
A lot of people sit down to eat when they're listening to this show.
I'd like to. I guess I'll shout out, "Hey, Turla!"
Yeah?
Well, let me turn your mic down so the yelling sounds more there. Not you, her. I'm down here with
Turla,
you.
be careful up there. I don't know if you even saw this, but when you stuck your hand in that thing, you pulled out a piece of a dead sparrow. That's poison up there.
No, you yell back.
That's terrible.
It's just way up the tree, right? Radio magic. That's gross. What is it? A carnivorous tree, you think?
Maybe, or maybe, whatever touches this stuff could some kind of poison.
So is Turla continuing to climb?
How far away is the nearest branch?
Still another 30 feet up.
Yeah.
I'd say.
What are you doing? Shimmying up it or something? Oh, you're climbing the nodules.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a rough enough
basically
surface
handholds.
that
Yeah.
you've got handholds.
Ooh.
I think maybe I'll come back down for now and at least make sure that I've got, clean gloves and the like
Sure.
before we decide to do it again, if we decide to do it again.
Sounds reasonable.
So do you want to detect whether the sparrow is magic or this tree is magic?
Did
Is
I
that
do
worth
that
it?
last time?
I don't think so.
Man, there's also other wizards. There's another wizard. There's
Yeah.
a sorcerer that's
we could
much
ask.
higher level detect magic than me. I'm gonna suggest to what's his name? L'Oreal? Vidal Sassoon. I'm gonna suggest to him.
Laurelarian.
Laurelarian. I'm gonna say, hey, how about I detect magic on this tree, bro?
Certainly. He just waves his hands and says
Okay.
a few words and looks at the tree.
That was the sound of arcane forces being released.
Boom. That was the sound of arcane forces being released. It's like this tiny little spell. Boom.
All right.
So he looks at the tree. That's too impressive for what he just did.
Okay.
But he looks at the tree and it really doesn't. He explains that it really doesn't radiate any magic to speak of. It's probably been twisted by magic, but
Okay.
that doesn't mean that it itself is enchanted in any way.
Okay.
And have you ever
Does he have detect evil?
You ever
No.
you ever seen this before? These nodules with the cancerous growths and the red pus coming out of them?
You ever seen that?
You ever seen that?
Have you?
Huh?
No, have you?
No, it just doesn't look good.
Just making conversation.
Look, she stuck her hand in there and ripped out a piece of a sparrow.
We could set it on fire. I mean, if we're into that kind of thing, we could burn it. Maybe we should just leave it alone.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
The smoke might attract unwanted attention.
It is like the only landmark in the area. You
Right.
know,
It'd
it's
be
a
good.
landmark.
Good on the map. Yeah.
So that's that. Everyone's just kind of backing away from the tree, I guess.
Well, everyone was a ways away from the tree proper. They were in the shade of the tree, but you don't have to be
Sure.
remotely close to the trunk to be in the shade of the tree.
Probably has a huge drip line.
Yeah.
So hot.
Can you imagine the taproot on that thing? Oh. It's 165 feet tall. It's got to be double that.
All right.
Straight down.
Let's leave the tree alone, I guess.
Tree porn?
Charla, clean yourself up.
Okay, so Turla does clean off her gloves and
Yes. If anybody wants to examine the goop, they're more than welcome.
Thanks for the offer.
does anyone want to examine the goop?
Does it look like? Is it look like blood? Is that what it looks like?
It reminds you a bit of blood and a bit of sap. It's thicker than blood.
What would be the check if you were gonna? Yeah, I don't know.
I'd probably give you an intelligence check and just make it an extremely difficult one.
I got a 17 intelligence. Can I look at it and try to figure out what it is, or like divine
Go
any?
ahead. Roll me a d20 and add your bonus, your intelligence bonus.
That's 13 plus 2, 15.
Okay.
Oh no, I have a 15 intelligence. Pardon me.
So, well, I mean, that gets you up to 15. You can tell that it is sticky like sap, but that it smells faintly of blood.
Okay.
So, maybe it's a cross between the two or a mix of the two.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder how that sparrow got up in there. You think this is a carnivorous tree?
Good thinking there, Craig. Could be. Or maybe it was the fetus of a bird. You know. Ugh.
I think the tree is evil.
Okay. Turtles, come down on the... You're the one who climbed it.
Yes, and I'm regretting it.
Are we camping here?
No, you were just
Okay.
stopping for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
You
Grievous
guys decided
tree.
to spend your lunch messing with the evil tree.
Oh, I was eating the whole time. I had some finger food.
A little squirrel meat.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess moving on then.
So you guys get back on the road, partway into your afternoon, about halfway between lunch and when you would encamp. You guys actually you've seen a few, like, scurrying things here and there during
Oh.
your time out here, but it's rare. It would be like out of the corner of your eye seeing a squirrel or like a ground squirrel running for cover where you don't quite see it, but you can tell something was just moving.
Yeah.
Our old foe, the squirrel.
No, I mean like normal chipmunk / ground squirrels.
Our old foe, the normal squirrels.
Yes. But this is the first time you've actually seen an animal that was sort of out on its own, except for the harpies. And it looks a bit like a deer.
I hail it.
It's got... It looks like it is... Well, you can see it's sort of taking shelter next to a rock outcropping, trying to hide in the shade. And when it sees that it's been seen, it tries to get up, but it's having some trouble. It's kind of ungainly. It's got an extra antler growing out of its shoulder. And it has
Mount that on my wall.
I don't know a lot
a
about deer.
fifth leg growing out of its torso,
Okay.
like off to the side. And it just seems, well, it's trying to get up, it just seems to spasm a little bit. It's seriously deformed.
Put it out of its misery, Craig, with some poetry. Do you have any offensive... What are
No.
your offensive
No,
spells?
I can daze it. I can mage hand it, so I could maybe make a hand and slap
Do a
it.
Darth Vader on it. Just choke it out.
No, I can't really do it. I could carry a piece of paper or maybe slap it lightly.
Right?
Or I could do prestidigitation, which is like small manipulation. I can give it a little massage from a distance.
Would I get experience points for killing this deer?
At least a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoken like a
I'm
true
gonna use
gamer.
I'm gonna use my short bow to put this deer out of its misery.
Okay. So
That's cool, right?
you take your aim.
It bleats pitifully.
I might have missed.
What? Do you have a bonus to hit?
Yeah. Wait, now I'm confused. What am I looking for here?
It might be on your next sheet.
So you rolled a 9.
Yeah.
Mine's listed under my ranged bonus.
Yeah, it's on the first page.
On
of-
the
Oh,
It is on
plus
the
one.
first page
Just a
first.
plus one.
So 10.
So I got a 10. Is that good enough
Okay.
to hit a crippled deer?
You don't think that you actually hurt it. The arrow did hit its mark, but you think it basically got stopped by thick hide.
What?
It was very weak.
How far away am I from this thing?
Well, I mean, the thing is that you barely hit it.
That's embarrassing.
Actually, you actually missed it, but you missed it not on the basis of its ability to move, but on the basis of its hide.
What kind of armor is this thing? Oh, you mean it's got like it's magically hardened hide?
No, you just...
I just
Possibly.
blew it. Okay, I understand.
Deer hide is better than nothing.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
You wanna
I feel-
try your
I feel-
sling?
I feel sad for
It
this
is.
pitiful
It
thing.
is bleeding a tiny bit, but you don't.
Now we
think you
have to kill
killed
it. Once you wound it, you have to. That's state law.
I feel bad for the thing. It's had
That's
a
why we're
sad-
killing it.
sad to but how did it make it this far? That's my question.
I don't want to have a philosophical discussion with you.
Do you think this is in Turla's future? From touching that goo? He's gonna
Ugh.
grow another arm?
Turlo. An antler would be cool.
I didn't actually touch the goo.
Right.
My glove touched the
Right,
shoe.
right.
She assiduously cleaned her gloves. Should have Russ do that.
I may just replace them.
Yeah.
Actually, Russ would have volunteered
Yeah.
if he saw that you were trying to clean your gloves.
What a guy.
Well, okay.
I'll clean your gloves.
Thank you.
What a guy.
Thank you, Russ.
You're welcome.
Somebody else. Well, I'll take another shot at it. But are
Take
we in
care.
combat? Do I?
Yeah, you can take another shot.
All right.
It's
Gladly.
just.
Is everybody
reached
just
its
watching me
speed.
do this?
Yeah, pretty much. And you missed by a wide
I
margin.
rolled a 4. I'm gonna go again.
We're just gonna watch you do
It's
this.
just a matter of time. Another 9. Give me a break. So the first one wounded it a little bit.
How many arrows do you have?
What is
by the way?
happening? Don't even remind him of that. I hope he's not keeping track.
You should be able to recover them after.
It's
Yeah, I'm
helpful
gonna get
that I
them
have
all back.
recordings of these.
I'm gonna get them all back.
Yeah, yeah.
I always recover my arrows. It's kind of my creed.
Leodor,
Yes,
what are you
because
doing?
An arrow remains completely undamaged when it strikes a rock instead of the intended flesh.
All my arrows have so far.
Leodor, what are you doing? Are you trying to kill
I'm gonna
that
roll
thing?
one more time. It's my
You
fourth
need, you need
arrow.
a hand?
It appears to be moving in
An
your
18.
direction.
That should be good enough to.
It's moving in our
So that's
direction.
19.
It's moving in our direction, Leodor. Thanks very much.
That's
19.
fine.
So
Good.
you sink a arrow deep into its the side of its chest as
Okay.
it is charging you.
Oh shit.
Now roll for damage.
It's a D8 or D8?
Oh, it's a D6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thankfully, this thing is a bit
4.
ungainly, so charge is a relative term. But it's obviously moving at you with great intention.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do a magic missile on it. Well, I assume it. Anyway, so I did.
You can go ahead and take another shot.
Yeah. How far away is it?
It'll take about 2 rounds to reach you.
I will draw my axe
All right.
just in case.
I'll take another shot. I'm not gonna use a magic missile on this. 13 plus 1, 14.
Okay, you hit it. Roll for damage.
I rolled a 6.
Okay. It stumbles. Actually, I'll make a check to see if it Okay, it easily maintains its footing and continues its movement forward.
Is anybody else going to use any ranged
Everyone
weapons?
is just sort of, at least all of the
just-
NPCs are all just sort of staring at you for
Yeah.
stopping to open fire on...
I'm the only one who felt bad for this
On
thing?
Crippled animal.
Yeah. Well, or is it? You know, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I'm an explorer, so. Okay, I missed.
Okay. It'll reach you at the end of next round.
Okay.
What are you going to do this round? You can shoot again.
Retreat. I might retreat. 'Cause I don't.
Yeah, I guess I'll draw my longsword.
I could cast shield or I could cast magic missile. I don't want to do that, really. Well, I'll probably have a chance to rest. So when I get a chance, I'll cast shield.
Okay.
Because it would be really embarrassing.
So you're going to basically stand your ground, cast shield,
If-
and then try and get out of the way?
If I have enough movement, I would retreat while I was casting shield.
You really can't move that effectively
Yeah.
while casting.
I understand. But I guess it's better for me to cast shield than to run away.
Well,
Especially since nobody's lifting a finger to
I
help me.
pulled out my axe.
Okay.
She's brandishing her axe at the deer in an attempt to
The
intimidate
only
it.
one it is threatened by is
If it
you,
looks
Leodor.
like it's threatening you, I will run over and attempt to.
Of
kill
course
it.
it's charging me.
It's stumbling towards you weakly.
It doesn't make sense that this thing couldn't, like when we saw it, it could barely move, you know? Now
It
it's-
survived out here
now it's
this long.
shambling
Well,
toward us.
it could barely get up.
Right.
Once it's up,
I see.
apparently it can move, but it is still a bit of a... It's not balanced, right?
Well,
Right.
It
Now
has
that it's-
a leg and a haunch coming out of the side of its torso,
Right.
out of one side of the torso, so it's sort of always leaning in that direction a bit.
Gotcha.
now that it's half dead, I will kill it if I can.
So are you going to stand in front of...
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I shouldn't have cast shield. What a waste.
You got a human shield.
I know.
A dwarven shield.
Dwarven human
That's
shield.
what a fighter is. A protector.
Yeah.
Okay, so... well,
I hope it bites you in
Roll-
the calf. Leodor.
roll your d20 and add your initiative bonus.
You didn't want to kill the deer? What did you want to do? Feed it, it would have just followed you.
I thought elves loved the animals.
Wait, to my
Dude,
d20
that's,
roll?
that's
Yeah.
where this is coming from.
I rolled a 13 total.
Okay. And you... So that's a tie, and you have a greater dexterity than it does. For obvious reasons. So you get to attack it first.
Okay. 18 plus
Nice.
3.
Okay, roll for damage.
1d10.
I guess I'll have to make a poem for this poor.
I can't believe we're not on the
Beast.
same page.
6.
Okay.
You're just going to keep walking?
And
I drew my sword.
you bring this mutant deer down.
Nice.
Good. I felt bad for it at this point.
Yeah.
It smells horrible.
Poor thing.
When your axe hit it, it was just like it gave way oddly.
Weird.
You.
Well, that's that.
Everything in this strange land seems to be rotting from the inside.
Yeah. Shouldn't drink the water, I guess. Or be here at all.
I'd like to recite a poem.
I think this is the right occasion for that. I think
I don't have a
definitely.
poem prepared, but
You want to say a few words?
yeah, I'll say a few words.
So many things rhyme with deer, you should have no problem. This is probably going to be a really good one because of the ease with which one can rhyme words with the word deer. So go ahead.
Or
I'll make
buck.
it.
It'll probably be almost like a prepared poem.
Yeah, I'll
It'll
make
be
it,
that good.
I'll make it short.
Okay. Go ahead.
The sad sack of flesh that's lying here. Would you believe was once a deer? With normal legs and normal hooves
Yeah, go
but
on.
now, see what behooves it. It's got an extra antler there. It's got a foot hung in the air.
You rolled a 1.
Roll again.
11. 1 and 11.
So you're not going to be haunted by the spirit of this thing, at least.
It was terrible, but it wasn't going to cost you face.
Is the animal at peace? That's all he cares about.
No, it's not at peace. You shot it full of arrows and then beat it to death with an axe.
I can't believe that I'm being made out to be the bad guy here. Anyway.
Are you going to search its pockets later? Take an antler for one of your little wizard
I'm not
spells?
touching it. That's why I shot it with arrows and I didn't.
I very carefully cleaned my axe.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have nice antlers.
Have Russ grab them. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want the antlers. What do you do with antlers anyway? Like decorative things, handles for daggers.
There's
and
also
stuff?
some magical spells
Bone
that
knives.
Oh right.
Oh, nice.
ground antler can be a component sometimes.
It's not one of my reagents.
Not at the moment.
Right. I'll get it. I mean, I wouldn't want to use weird, demented antlers for a spell
That might be
component anyway.
extra strong.
I don't know if it works that way.
Hey, what do you... I
It
asked,
depends on what the spell was, but if it's consistent with the spell, it actually could charge the spells higher.
You
I'd like-
cannot tempt me.
If it's
I'd li-
inconsistent with the spell, it might be really bad. But
Yeah.
I'd like to ask the other people, hey, fellas, sorry about that stinker of a poem.
You were just really choked up.
Now that this thing is dead, is there anything we could use from it?
probably not.
All right.
Llewellyn was the one that answered that. He was just looking at it, and it's like, this is...
Filthy corpse.
How long does that shield spell last? Let's try to get into some trouble right away.
It's not going to last long enough for you to get into trouble right away, unless you decide to like pick a fight with your employers or a mule.
Now would be the time.
Or a mule. Yeah, that'd be fitting for you, Leodor.
All right,
Why don't you kill one of our mules, too?
let's hit the road.
So you guys continue on your way.
I'm changing my name on my sheet to Leodor Summerbreeze the Merciful.
Thwang. Mercy. Sorry. So you guys settle down for the night. You guys do the normal shifts on watch.
Okay.
So that would mean...
Got my shield spell back.
Sorry. That would mean that Crag, along with Lorlarian and Tola, are taking first shift. So the sun is just setting. And...
Would we knock off early on this trip, huh? I don't know.
You want to set up camp before the sun sets.
I suppose you're right.
The sun is setting. You've got a nice fire built up. There were some properly dead and dried out trees nearby.
Nice.
And so you were able to do a nice campfire without having to resort to the fire that you guys brought with you. All right, sorry, the firewood that you guys brought with you. And
We have one of those Duraflame logs, like compressed
Right.
powder. Oh, yeah.
No,
Made
it's-
from chestnuts.
it's old dried out wood that you're using tonight, and so it actually is
Probably
burning
oak.
fairly quick, but it's burning fairly hot and without much problem. And you were able to collect enough of it that's not a concern. It's more fire than you've had for a few nights. It's fairly warm. Like I said before, you're in late summer, I believe. Did I say it was late summer?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in late summer. So, you know, it was in the low to mid 80s today, so you've got more fire than you'd necessarily want in some ways.
We can
And-
dry out our smelly socks.
Yep, and after the sun has set completely, in the darkness, you hear some movement.
Lord Laren, did you hear that? It sounds like there's something rustling over there.
Should we do a listen check?
Well, you're asleep.
Oh, right. Oh, you just wake me up? Oh, Lolarian. Excuse me. Sorry. I
I-
thought he was talking to me. That's
As
why.
I say that, I draw my long sword.
Sword.
Okay, and Tola is already asleep. At
Was
this
I
point.
resting long enough to have my spells back?
No, you need 8 hours.
Ugh.
So if a violent conflict does come up right now, you will be out your shield spell.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So let's see, Lord Larian's listen check.
Oh,
Okay.
wait. My snake probably would have woke me up, but just saying.
No, that's a fair
Bucephalus
point.
Bucephalus is always on the job.
So he does actually wake you up.
Super. By the way, Bucephalus's intelligence his intelligence is 6. Isn't that like almost like a normal human?
It's the same as mine.
Nice. He's a smart snake.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of him being your familiar.
Yeah.
He has as much intelligence as your fighter.
That's cool. I didn't notice that before. Maybe he might even be smarter than the fighter. He didn't climb the oak tree. Had the tumors all over it.
Yes, but he did
Just
listen
saying.
to you when you sent him down the hole in the ground.
That's true.
So, yeah, Lorelarian is silently nods to you,
He's on it.
and he's looking into the darkness.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, both of your night vision is kind of ruined
by the fire.
by the fire.
Mine wouldn't be though. 'Cause I had my eyes closed. You just got a head
He
shake.
doesn't see anything. Yeah, this is the downside of my reflexes as a GM on the radio. I'm
Right.
so used to if a character's just being completely silent, just
Non-verbal
shaking.
cues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he shakes his head silently at you, and
I'd like to. Can I look closely into the
yeah,
darkness?
go ahead and give me a spot check.
16 plus 0.
Okay, you do see large shadows.
Multiple shadows.
Yeah, you can't quite make them out. There's moments where there's just enough background light that you can see that there's a form there, and then it's sort of gone, just because the darkness is complete enough that it's hard to spot them. There at least 2 or 3 of them. They're quadrupedal. They're moving kind of like canines, like a wolf. But their shoulders are at least 3.5 or 4 feet high. So these are huge creatures, and they just seem to be circling the encampment in a counterclockwise direction.
I guess I'll whisper that to Lorlarian, and maybe motion how many there are with my hands, and just whisper a little bit to him. And I guess I'll leave it up to him whether we need to wake guys up. Do we have any squirrel meat left? Like on my...
I think we threw all that down when we were trying to tempt the lake monster.
Right.
I mean, I think we threw all of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lorlarian nudges.
Yeah, I guess I'll
He nudges Tola Aram.
I'll kind of kick Tarla a little bit, too. And I'll kind of put my finger on her mouth, like, shh.
What's going on?
So am I awake right now?
Yeah, you're just sitting there.
You know what? I should look in the book, but I have a question about dancing lights. Does dancing lights, would it actually illuminate an area, or is it just visible as an illusion that only they see or something?
It would provide some illumination. Let's see. I'll find dancing lights for you and then just pass it off. But,
It'd be nice if we got a twofer, you know?
yep, there we go.
It's kind of like
Middle
a flare.
of that page.
Yeah.
So
At this point, I guess what I'm thinking is these probably aren't going to want to attack us. They're probably going to be afraid of the fire. But if we instigate them, they will. But maybe there's a way to scare them off.
I'm going to try and quietly put on my armor and grab my axe if I can.
Oh, listen to how awesome this is, by the way. You create up to 4 lights, depending on level, that resemble lanterns or torches and cast that amount of light, or up to 4 glowing spheres of light, which look like will-o'-wisps, or 1 faintly glowing, vaguely humanoid shape. That's pretty cool.
Oh.
Sorry.
it's a fairly versatile spell.
Yeah. So I could, the lights can move up to 100 feet per round, too.
Yeah, you could use them to illuminate.
Yeah, I might do that when I get a chance.
So I was looking at some of these class abilities I have as Bardic. I've got Bardic Music, Inspire Courage, Counter Song, which we did in another episode, and there's Fascinate. What is that? Does that mean I can kind of compel someone to, like, kind of hypnotize them?
Yeah, pretty much. That you can just make them watch you with their jaw slack-jawed.
And the dumber they are, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that would work on an animal, but you never know.
It's worth a
They
shot.
might like
You could read.
poetry.
So are you going to cast your spell?
It's, you know how people always say music soothes the savage beast? It's breast. I don't know if it's Tennyson or who, but it's music soothes the savage breast. Wasn't that weird?
I didn't know that.
Also, what's the other one I was thinking about the other day? Sidebar. I'll think of it later. Something everybody says. It's like they say half of the saying, and the rest of it means something completely differently. I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about by now. Continue.
There's so many cases. Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah. I think it's a little early for me to cast that spell because we don't know what
I'll
what
cast
they're doing.
dancing lights if my hands are free. If I'm
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if I'm still lying down, and I can probably see better than those guys. I wasn't staring at the fire, which
Mhm.
you should have your back to the fire when you're standing watch. By the way, you should know better. Can I cast it right now?
Go ahead.
All right. What do I have to? Oh,
You just cast it.
I just cast it. I don't have to do anything.
As long as you had it memorized,
I do.
You just cast it.
I do. It's one of my 0 level spells.
Okay. And so you
And-
get... I'm not sure how... You probably
It's-
only get 1 light.
Yeah, probably
So based
'cause-
on level.
Yeah,
So
it might be 2. I didn't. I should have.
if it says it's potentially 1 and your first level, I think it's 1.
Okay. Well, no, it said up to 4.
Ah.
You know, so, but whatever. All we need is 1.
Andy,
And-
do you...
I'll choose the. I'll choose the torch shape.
It says just depending on the version selected up to 4.
Oh, so I could just have 4. Like if I chose to have 1.
That's what it looks like.
GM says, huh?
Isn't it weird that there's like a light spell? I mean, this seems.
Oh,
to take
I see. Yes. Yes, that's... Okay, it's... Yeah, you can do...
But it's also going to
For-
confuse them or something. Does it have some other?
No, I think I'd
Correlative.
misinformed you about that based on previous
yeah.
editions of the
Sure.
spell.
That's fine. I prefer this anyway. It's kind of nice to have.
So you cast the spell. You've got 4 magic
4
torches,
torches.
that'll last for
Cool.
1 minute. So you
Right.
only have 1 minute with them, but
Right.
you can move them quite quickly and
Right.
in various directions. So you're just going to... Well, first, roll me a spot check to
And
see
also-
how easily you can get a sense of where these things are.
11 plus 2.
And then plus another 2 for your...
My spot is plus 2. You know what? It
Yes,
says,
but you get
yeah.
an extra plus 2
Oh.
for your snake.
Oh, right. Right. Awesome.
So you have a 15, which is enough to get a general notion of where they're at. You can see them intermittently.
Well, I want to send 3 torches in that direction and 1 in the opposite direction behind us.
Okay.
You can't do that according to the spell. It has to be within 10 feet of each other.
Thanks for reading that
thank
so
you.
carefully, Turla.
You can tell by the lack of bellowing that was Andy as opposed to her character.
Yeah, I guess so. Sorry, Andy. Appreciate
It's okay.
that.
Silly John.
I guess
Turla can't read.
I guess I'll send them in the direction of the main body of the dudes, the wolves or
Okay.
whatever.
And sorry to besmirch Turla. I believe Turla actually can read.
I can
But-
read.
So that means my snake can read too.
I can read in 2
Well, I guess
languages.
it doesn't mean it means he could if I taught him to.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I guess there's different kinds of intelligence.
I could,
So-
I could
Snake might be
you want
a
me to
musical
teach your
genius.
snake Dwarvish?
I don't. All right.
You send the lights out and roll me another spot check.
That wasn't a 12 plus 4, 16.
That's enough to be able to see what happens. You are certain that they were right there and that they should have been illuminated. But when the torches got close enough to illuminate them, there wasn't anything there.
Except for suspense.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, that's that. Let's hit the hay. I thought.
Well, I mean, you can still see others that are
right.
circling in other directions, but
Right.
Good move.
not in that general area.
I think there's a 100-foot range on that. If I can, I'll send the
Got
torches
a
in that
minute,
direction.
right, for this thing to.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll me another spot check.
An 8 plus 4 is 12.
Do we get to roll spot checks? Because we're looking out
Sure.
By now I should be done.
You're
getting
all
my armor
watching-
on and such, right?
there. 15.
Plus
Plus 0.
0.
2.
Okay, so
Thanks,
you guys, you can see about what he saw before. You can see that he should have illuminated it with the position of the creatures and the lights, but he didn't.
Does Lord Larian have any thoughts
I
on
don't
this?
see anything.
This is spooky.
It's real spooky.
Reminds me of a poem I know, The Death of the Wolf.
Oh, good.
Maybe I'll save it for later.
Lord Larian says, I believe that I've heard of these in an old story. They were called shade wolves.
Mm.
Stories about them to the north. As long as we keep the fire burning, there shouldn't be any trouble.
We got enough wood for the night?
Thankfully.
Sounds good.
So, are you saying they only live in the shade?
So what are you saying?
In the darkness?
Well, they're not undead shadows, but they are wolves composed of shadow. So, what I'm saying is that they don't exist when there's this much light. So they can't get at us or our mules as long as we keep the fire burning.
Mm.
But
Even magical flame scares him off. I guess it's light.
Well, I guess that's that. I guess we gotta keep this fire going.
Yeah. Do we have tons of wood?
not tons, but enough to keep a
I guess-
decent-sized fire burning through the night.
I wonder if you could.
So not enough for 2 fires.
I guess what if you fired an arrow at them? You know, that's in the darkness. You can see them though. That's the problem. Most likely,
There we
most
go.
likely you'd miss because it's far.
Right. I don't know. If you sat there staring long enough, what's the point? Anyway,
All right,
what would happen if you shot it with a flaming arrow?
you know, it would just go right through it.
So weird. What do these things eat?
Well, if it's safe for the time being,
Yeah.
we should get our rest.
I'm gonna hit the hay. I'm gonna warn Bucephalus he should be on extra high alert. Do his voice. Go ahead. Oh, it's horrible. All right. Oh, did he level up by any chance when we leveled up?
Well, you haven't really leveled up yet.
I know, but
He will,
he will too.
although there aren't any gains between first and second level for your familiar.
Bummer.
there's gains between second and third.
Good.
I guess I could try to fascinate these things and bring them into the light. Then they'll just disappear anyway. It's not going to hurt them.
Yeah.
They just don't exist in the light.
It's like the holodeck.
Yeah, there's no downside to that plan at all.
It's like a reverse holodeck. Okay.
I'm not going to do that. Knowing me, people don't like me. My spells don't work right.
That's right. It's really something weird creeping into your speech there, Craig. So I guess, yeah, I'm going to go back to sleep.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to sleep, but I'm going to leave my armor on.
So, the night goes on basically according to plan. You guys change shifts of watch just like you normally would. So, the second shift is Kletchy, Torum, and Turla. And, you know, they're still out there. Every once in a while you catch sight of them, and they're... At least 3 of them. There's probably more like 6 or 7 total, but you only see them intermittently as they sort of pass into and out of the pitch darkness. And then third shift is Trobeck, Newallen, Russ, and Leodor.
Which means I got my spells back.
Then Tola. Well, you get to study for your spells in the first 15 minutes after waking up, but...
Oh.
You pull out your book and you read through things and basically reconstruct the spells in your mind.
Yep. Really no real-life analog for that process. It's like...
Not so much.
Yeah.
No, it's like, showering, having a cup of coffee.
Now I'm ready to face the day. Know all my spells.
There's not a terribly good real-life analog,
Right.
but I guess the best description that I could have for it would be if you try to imagine something, if you try to really vividly imagine something, it takes you a few minutes to construct that image in your mind.
Plus, it's magic. We don't have that. I mean, in our world, we just use mana points for everything. You know?
Well, yeah.
Cool. Oh, did that watch pass uneventfully, or?
Yep, all the watches
Cool.
pass uneventfully. I mean, it's notable that you're being circled by giant, terrifying shadow things, but you had enough fire to last through the night. And even a little bit of firewood left over to take with for a future night.
Let's scour. Let's get as much firewood as we can and
That'd
get
be a
it
good
on
idea.
the mule.
Get
Much
the mules, carry some extra load.
If we see any more giant trees.
Cut them down.
Let's cut them down.
Well, you're down 1 mule, so you don't have that much carrying capacity.
As much as possible. And Russ can carry some.
We can at least stock back up to whatever we had before last night.
You realize that Russ really is not a very strong little guy.
Well, wait until we're done with him.
His strength is 6.
Okay.
If he's going to successfully keep up with the party, he can't carry more than 20 pounds of weight.
Boy, that's lower than my strength. Does Russ have like 1 hit point?
No, he actually has a decent hit point score. But
What does he have?
He has a couple... I'm not going to tell you.
Really?
It's not really... 18?
Would you give him a
He has
physical?
18 hit points. I have 3 hit points and Russ has 18 hit points.
Would you give him a physical before we left,
He has a
Leodor?
very good constitution and a couple levels of commoner.
I only have 11 hit points.
Good for you, Russ. Jeez, I'm going to put him in front.
NPC levels are kind of strange sometimes.
That's fine. No, I don't want Russ to die anyway. I'm glad he has it.
That's kind of why I gave him those hit points. Because he can't be that much use most of the time.
Yeah.
So he might as well not die.
Yep.
He's a strong farm boy.
Yeah.
So,
No, he's not a strong farm boy.
Well, he's got a good constitution.
Yeah, what does that mean? It's weird. Anyway, sorry, go
very
ahead.
healthy.
Very healthful.
It's a healthy, weak man.
So in the morning, you guys set out. About 10:30 in the morning, you guys find, maybe 20 feet from the trail side, you guys see a really large, burrow. Like this large, open
Ugh.
hole in the ground.
Guess we camped in the wrong spot. Who picked this campsite?
Well, you're already on the road.
Oh, I thought you meant like as soon as like right
I
there.
said about 10:30, so it's like
Oh.
you're on the road for like 2 hours.
I think I heard that as feet. I think I heard about. Sorry, go ahead. I misheard you.
No, it's like 20 feet to the side.
Oh, okay.
But it's 10:30 in the morning.
Maybe I just haven't been listening till now. I should start paying
Well, I
attention.
said trail side. There isn't a proper trail, but it's a. It looks like an animal burrow, but it's unusually large. The mouth of it is maybe at the widest point 3 to 4 feet across.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's where those beasts live.
Can we see anything inside?
It is quite dark inside the, underground burrow. It's about as dark as one would expect a burrow to be.
Yeah. Dark
Does it
brown.
go straight down into the ground, or is it... I'm sort of picturing a cave-ish thing, and I wasn't sure.
It goes in at an angle.
Sorry about your mic there, Troa. I don't know what that noise is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it goes in at an angle, but it's pretty steep. It would be kind of risky and scary and really narrow for even the smallest of you to go in,
Like Russ.
like Russ.
Wow.
You guys are
I'm not sending the snake. So
you
don't
guys
look
are
at me.
looking and considering. Russ says, "Thur, did you want me to go down there?"
No, Russ.
Oh, good. I'd rather stay up here.
Is he telepathic? Russ has latent telepathic abilities.
Well, I mean,
You just looked at him. You're like, looked at him, look at the hole. Looked at him, look at the hole. Couple
I'm
times.
assuming that you weren't being subtle.
No. I was worried that you guys wanted me to send the snake down there, which I won't do. Snake stays wrapped around my wrist.
Maybe we could stick a torch in, or somebody with light could,
Yeah.
stick their hand in and illuminate the inside a little.
Or we could throw something in there. Or we could just keep walking.
Keeping
can't tell-
walking is an option.
I can't tell if you hate it when we do that, or if we were like, those dummies, like, why are they going into this hole? Anyway.
Well, you see, when you guys end up making me expand one of these trailside attractions,
Yeah.
it stretches out my game prep, so
Sure.
I don't have to do as much game prep.
Oh, I
So
see.
that's nice.
Yeah, I see.
But also, it's kind of amusing when you guys put your hands through the pustules of the tree.
Yeah. Well, we've only got a few minutes here. Can we, I don't know if we want to waste any firewood making a torch and throwing it down there. But I don't know if I also could cast dancing lights and send it down there.
Well, you only have a few moments because,
Yeah, you're walking. We're walking.
Everybody else is
This
still
is-
walking?
they're sort of waiting for you because you're just
I guess we could wad up.
looking back and forth,
Wad up some toilet paper.
reassuring,
That's exactly what I was
reassuring
gonna say.
Russ, reassuring the halfling that you're not going to throw him down a pit, and then thinking, "Can we make a torch?" And everyone's just looking at you because you sort of stopped walking and were considering this hole in the ground.
Perhaps we should investigate this later.
Yeah, later.
Yeah, later.
We'll come back to
We'll
this.
come back,
We'll
yeah.
come back to this
No,
hole
I
in
was
the
gonna say
ground.
we could wad up a big roll of toilet paper, light it on fire,
Right.
roll it down the hall,
Yeah,
see what happens.
that would be cool.
What do we use for toilet paper anyway?
Yeah, I'm
I,
sorry.
I have
the,
a spell. Oh.
The 15th of your 8 mules had all the toilet paper.
Ugh. I use a silk handkerchief that Russ cleans for me. He dry cleans it. Go pick up my dry cleaning, Russ. I guess
Let's
we'll
press
just stick
on.
with the main
Let's
party.
press on.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so you guys keep going, and late afternoon, you guys actually reach the dungeon, and we're going to start the next session off there. You guys reach this hillside that has a large, ornate opening that's obviously been crafted. And I'll give you the description next week. But
That's exciting.
So this is where we're gonna camp out and
yes,
look
it's
for animals.
late afternoon. You guys are doing an early encampment. They're not going to go down into the dungeon yet. Now, dungeon being the generic term, it's not actually a place where prisoners were kept, but...
So it's just a cavern.
No, it's definitely like something that was carved into the side of the hill. It was worked stone.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Think Petra, if you know the city of Petra.
Yeah, sure.
The Christian rock band Petra?
Yes, the Christian rock band Petra. Not
Was that a
the-
local thing? Have you
not
guys
the
heard of
ancient
Petra?
archaeological site.
I mean, I've
Heard
got
of them.
Yeah, I think they're from central New York, though.
I've got a +4 to masonry. I could try to
Cool.
cobble some stones.
Well, we'll
Pick it up next
revisit
week.
this next week.
Danila, do you have the weather for us, by the way? Is it going to rain anytime soon?
I do not have the weather. No giant dead oaks for you, folks.
What's that?
No, I said it'll be nice, not unlike in our game, where there's giant dead oaks.
I don't think
Somber
it's supposed
melodies.
to rain. I think it's done.
Anyway,
Done
thank you
raining.
for listening to Time Spent Listening, Dungeons and Dragons edition,
Yeah.
with myself, Danila, John, Andy, and Chris. We'll see you again. Hear you again. You'll hear us again
Oh, God.
next week, right here on WRFI, Watkins Glen, Ithaca.
Glad we got through that. Have a good night, folks.